Assalamu alaikum. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to write about bar charts as one of the types you might be asked to write about in task 1 of the academic IELTS. Let's watch. Here's an exercise. The chart shows the results of a survey about the most important inventions in the last 300 years. We're comparing the opinions of males versus females, and the inventions are the bicycle, car, computer, mobile phone, radio, internet, and TV. Now, I'm going to teach you how to write sentences in which you compare between the opinions of males versus females. We can use a range of structures. We can say more males than females chose the TV. More males than females chose the TV. Or fewer females than males chose the TV. These two sentences have the same meaning. And remember to use fewer females, not less females, because the word females is countable. And that's why we use the word fewer. It's countable, it has S in it, so that means you can count it. If you can count a certain word, don't use the word less. Less is for the uncountable words. We can also say the TV was more popular among males than females. It's the same meaning. The most popular form of communication was the internet. We're talking about the internet here, and we're using a superlative adjective. The most popular form of communication was the internet. Now, you need to practice. What you need to do is to look at the chart and complete the following sentences with 1, 2, or maximum 3 words, no more than 3 words. You need to make correct sentences about the chart. So take your time, look at the sentences, and then complete them. And then in a few seconds, I'm going to show you the correct answers. Okay. Let's take a look at the right answers. More females than males chose the bicycle. The bicycle was more popular than any other invention. The car was less popular among females than males. The least popular invention among both sexes was the TV. More women than men voted for the mobile phone. Right? The most popular invention among both sexes was the bicycle. Fewer males than males picked the radio. The computer was less popular for women than men. Computer was less popular for women than for men. More people selected the bicycle than any other invention. The TV was less popular than any other invention. Okay. Now, you need to make sentences. You need to look at the chart one more time, and then you're going to make sentences using words. I'm going to give you some examples. So you have the words females, males select the bicycle. We can say more females than males selected the bicycle, right? More females than males selected the bicycle. Remember to use the past. Males, females select the bicycle. Fewer males than females selected the bicycle. Remember to use the word fewer, not less. The bicycle chose females, males. So this one is passive. The bicycle was chosen by more females than males. Okay, it's your turn. What you need to do is to look at these words and then try to make sentences to describe the information in the chart. Take some time, grab a pen and a piece of paper, write down your sentences, and in a few seconds, I am going to show you the correct answers. Okay, let's look at the right answers. More males than females chose the car. The car here, more males than females. Women, men select the mobile phone. More women than men selected the mobile phone. The internet chose males, females. The internet was chosen by more males than females. Females, males pick the radio. The radio here. More females than males pick the radio. Males, females pick the radio. Fewer males than females pick the radio. These two sentences have the same meaning. The computer chose females, males. The computer was chosen by fewer females than males. Computer, fewer females than males. The bicycle select males, females. The bicycle was selected by fewer males than females. This is how it works. Now, look at this exercise. Adverbs can be added to sentences to make them more precise, more accurate. Read the examples. Significantly more people voted for the bicycle than the other inventions. Okay, we can remove the word significantly and the sentence will still be grammatically correct. We will say more people voted for the bicycle than the other inventions, right? It's grammatically correct. But the word significantly here adds more accuracy to the meaning. It shows that the gap between voting for the bicycle and the other inventions was huge. If you replace the word significantly with the word slightly, the meaning would be completely different. And in this situation, wrong. We're trying to say again that the gap between those who voted for the bicycle and those who voted for the other inventions was huge. So we use words like significantly, substantially, and so on. Now look at this one. The bicycle was chosen by almost as many males as females. We can remove the word almost and the sentence will still be grammatically correct. The bicycle was chosen by as many females as males. But there's a difference in meaning here. If you say as many males as females, it means it was the same number, 50 and 50, for example. But if you say almost as many males as females, it's not the same number. It could be, for example, here it was 49, but for females it was 50. And that's why we use the word almost. What you need to do in these sentences is to read them, and all you have to do is to underline the adverbs. Adverbs like significantly and almost and so on. Just underline them. That's it. That's all you have to do. Take some time. Okay. In the first sentence, slightly more women than men voted for the bicycle. In the past, considerably more people lived in the countryside than towns. Many more people can use a computer today than 30 years ago. Substantially less time is now spent doing housework than before. There are significantly fewer people now working in manufacturing than in the past. Sports programmers are watched by practically as many people now as in the previous years. The exhibition about cinema attracted far fewer visitors than expected. Illiteracy is much less common than in previous generations. Nearly as many children as adults watch programs about ancient history. So these are the adverbs here. Remember that you can remove them without any problems, and the meaning would still not be affected. Like it would be a little bit different, but the sentence would be correct. So we can say sports programs are watched by as many people now as in the previous years. It means it was the same number. But if you add practically, which means nearly, it means roughly, almost. So you say it's close, but not exactly the same. Okay. Now, these are the adverbs that we underlined in the previous sentences: almost, slightly, considerably, many, substantially, significantly, practically, far, much, nearly. You need to put them in three groups. The first group means that there is a huge difference, big difference between the two variables. The second one indicates that there is a small difference. And the third one indicates that they are almost the same. You may ask me, what's the difference between small difference and almost the same? I'll explain to you. Look at the sentence. If you say X is slightly higher than Y, so you're trying to say that there's a small difference between X and Y. X is higher than Y. You're not saying that they are the same. You're saying that X is higher than Y. And that's why the word slightly belongs to small difference. But look at this one. Y is almost as high as X. Here in the situation, you are trying to say that they are the same, but not exactly the same. And that's why we use the word almost. So almost belongs to this category. Slightly indicates that there is a small difference, but almost belongs to the category in which you're trying to say that they're almost the same. So take some time, put these adverbs in the right places, and then I'm going to show you the right answers. Okay, let's take a look at the right answers. Huge difference: substantially, significantly, considerably, much, many, far, small difference, slightly, almost the same, nearly, practically, almost. If it comes to small difference, we can use the word slightly, and we can also use the word marginally. Marginally. It means it has the same meaning, marginally. Okay, now let's practice. Use some of these adverbs to make these sentences more accurate. Almost, slightly, considerably, many, substantially, significantly. Put them in these sentences and look at the bar chart here and try to make these sentences more accurate. Take some time, think, grab a pen and a piece of paper and write down your answers. For example, in A, which word would you use? Would you say, for example, almost or slightly or nearly or what? Or considerably what? Here, look at the car, for example. We have a big difference between males and females here. So you're supposed to use an adverb which indicates that there is a huge difference. Choose one adverb from here that indicates a huge difference and use it. Okay, now I'm going to show you the correct answers. Significantly more males than females chose the car. You can say significantly, substantially, considerably, anything like that. Substantially more women than men selected the mobile phone. Substantially, significantly, considerably, anything. The internet was chosen by slightly more males than females because the difference between males and females when it comes to the internet is very small. So let's use the word slightly or marginally. D, slightly or marginally more females than males pick the radio. Also, when it comes to the radio, it's a small difference. So slightly or marginally. E, nearly as many males as females pick the radio. I'm trying to say that it's the same here, the same. So that's why I'm using the word nearly. I made some changes in the sentence in order not to repeat the same words. So I'm trying to say that they are the same, but not exactly the same. So I use the word nearly. Here we can use nearly or practically, yeah, or almost. The computer was chosen by nearly or almost as many females as males. One more time, I made some changes. I'm trying to say that it's the same number, but not exactly the same number. So I made some changes. The bicycle was selected by slightly or marginally fewer males than females. The bicycle here, I think it's a small difference. So I said it's almost the same or huge, small difference, as I said, yes. So slightly or marginally fewer males than females. Okay, now practice. The bar chart below indicates data about the level of participation by two age categories in some activities at the Center for Adult Education. So here we're comparing the membership in different activities at the Center for Adult Education, but it's not males and females this time. It's younger people, 20 to 30 versus older people, 45 to 65. What you need to do is to write an essay about that. So you're going to start with an introduction in which you paraphrase the question, and then you're going to write an overall paragraph. And then after that, you're going to write some body paragraphs, which depend on the information that you presented in the overall paragraph. Take some time, grab a pen and a piece of paper, write your own essay, pause the screen, and then compare your ideas with the essay that I'm going to show you right now. The first thing that you have to do is to ask yourself, how am I going to divide these variables? How? I think there are two ways to divide the variables here. You can either concentrate on the activities in which younger people have higher participation, and these activities are social and arts and crafts and fitness. So this is going to be one group. And another group in which you concentrate on the one in which older people have higher participation, historical, and then another group for archaeology. So you can have three paragraphs, one paragraph for fitness, arts and crafts, and social, one paragraph for archaeology, and one paragraph for historical. This is acceptable in the IELTS exam. This paragraph is going to have one sentence, and that paragraph is going to have one sentence, but this paragraph is going to have three sentences, so that's fine, no problems. This is only one way to write your essay. Another way could be that you focus on the gap, if there is a big gap, regardless of who's higher. So you might put historical and arts and crafts in the same paragraph because there's a big gap here. And social, fitness, and archaeology because there's a small gap or even no gap. That's one way. So you could have two paragraphs, one paragraph for the big gap, one paragraph for the small gap or no gap. That's acceptable too. Now let's look at the model answer. That chart provides information about how two age groups participate in several clubs at a Center for Adults. That's the introduction. Overall, the bar chart indicates that some activities are equally popular among the two age groups, while others are mostly preferred by mainly one of the age categories. So that's big gap, small gap. Equally popular means that there is a small gap. Mostly preferred by mainly one of the age categories, so that's a big gap. The data demonstrates that the archaeological, fitness, and social activities are popular with both older and younger people. To illustrate, the membership of the archaeology stands at 45 for both groups. Furthermore, the fitness and social have enrollment rates of around 50 members, although there are slightly fewer older people. On the other hand, the historical and arts and crafts societies clearly appeal more to one of the age groups. To explain, in the historical society, 50 of the members are between 45 and 65, while there are only 25 from the younger age group. As for the arts and crafts society, the pattern is reversed. There are about 60 members aged between 20 and 30, whereas the number of people in the older group is considerably lower. That's it. You can stop at the sport. You can stop at the sport, but this is an optional closing paragraph that you can use. In general, members of the younger age group are significantly more involved in various activities than 45 to 65-year-old citizens. Okay. This is going to be your homework. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The chart below gives information about how families in one country spend their weekly income in 1968 and 2018. So 1968 and 2018 average weekly spending by families: food, housing, fuel and power, clothing and footwear, household goods, personal goods, transport, leisure, and so on. Write this essay and send it to me so I can give you some feedback. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.